What happens when you stop? My semen retention story. Today, I'm going to talk about the benefits of semen retention and how you can improve your life by practicing it. Hi, and welcome to Male Wisdom. I will be talking about a little-known secret that can change your life for the better. It's called semen retention, and it's something that not many people know about but can have a lot of benefits. Stay connected to find out more. The benefits of avoiding ejaculating can come as a complete surprise to you. Men are always looking for a competitive advantage. It is in our nature to always be on the lookout for new methods to do better, not only as individuals but also as workers and people performing tasks. The following is a testimony and experience about the retention of sperm from a member of our kind-hearted MGTOW community. This is the story written by 22 Johnny Mace, and it begins, I'm a 22-year-old male virgin, and I've been Nofap for 4 months. After bringing it to my attention, I've realized that women are particularly attracted to me. I started using pot when I was 12 years old, and I've used it heavily since I was 16. As a result, I've lost the will to live and engage in sexual behavior. I've never asked a girl out because I'm afraid of being turned down. After reading an article on Nofap, I saw that it was pretty detailed yet offered no real insight. I dismissed it as being filled with gay content. After reading an article about how masturbating can help prevent prostate cancer, I decided to proceed. Then, as the paralyzing effects of my anxiety continued to intensify, I began to feel worse and worse. A modest level of desire went away from women wearing revealing attire. I was miserable, devoid of motivation, and unable to get over it for a long time. A few months ago, my brother cautioned me about the dangers of fapping, and subsequently, after that article, I stopped discussing the adverse effects that pornography has on the brain. After day one of my semen retention journey, because I was terrified of the withdrawal nothing had moved forward. So I deleted all the images I stored on my laptop and iPhone. Eventually, on day 8, I started to feel a lot better. My feelings of depression and worry began to subside, and I began to have a general sense of contentment and normalcy in my life. Likewise, I had become hornier. At the end of the second week, I started having more vivid, intense, and radiant dreams than any other dreams I'd ever had. It was shocking and horrifying all at the same time. At this point, I was convinced that Nofap was speaking the truth, and I was also aware that my brain was behaving unusually. On week 4, I had a weird attraction from women. My desire had completely vanished this past week, and I felt asexuality. This is one of the most challenging things ever happening to me, right up there with HOCD, which helped me get started with Nofap. I became aware that females were paying great attention to me. I had never encountered anything like it in my life. Women would follow me around wherever I went and even compliment me on my success. Adapted from the book Beautiful Chicks. I initially attributed this to confidence and the placebo effect because I still struggled with low self-esteem. However, I later realized this couldn't have been the case because I felt terrible in a flat line. My anxiety had worsened, and I didn't even look at or approach women during that time. In other random instances, women would brazenly come to me out of nowhere. One of the young women I had just passed ran up to me and gave me her contact information on the spot. Because I had never been given that kind of attention before, the whole thing seemed unreal. After stepping out of her car and giving me a flirty look, a lovely blonde woman gave me $20, but I was too scared to respond to her offer at the time. So I checked the internet to see if anyone else had experienced this phenomenon, and to my good fortune, I found many others who could identify with what I was going through. However, many people claimed it was all in their brains, pasture, or placebo effect. Therefore, I decided to test the validity of what my gut was telling me. Because I noticed that people paid more attention to me while wearing boxers, I decided to go to Food Lion wearing only my black gym shorts and not any boxers. I also did not bring any boxers with me. I recently discovered that women were following me around like a maniac. When I went to the aisle where the junk was, a hot older white woman who was probably in her late 20s passed me on her way down the hall, approached me, and called me baby. She then turned to face me to see whether I would react, but I was too stunned to talk, so I just let it go instead of responding to her question. Then, As I was making my way to the snack, two cute Asian females walked past me before making a complete U-turn and waiting for me to start talking before talking in my face. They made a mad dash for the self-service checkout lane just as I was ready to exit the store. After waiting 5 minutes, I went to look through my belongings as I continued to feel apprehensive. There was no doubt that someone was following me. This presented me with evidence that the effect was not due to a placebo or a rise in confidence. Instead, it was due to something else entirely. I am aware that there is a factor involving the retention of sperm. Why else would women who had disregarded me for the entirety of my life suddenly find themselves drawn to me? I don't buy new clothes often, and when I do, it's always the same old white shirt. Some of the girls will notice from a distance of 30 feet. When I cross the street, there are times when a few of the young women will lean in and kiss me. When I'm not even glancing their way, when I'm not even noticing them as usual, and when I'm acting the same on the outside. What could be the source of this? Week 5. Crazy energy. I can still vividly recall one morning in week 5 when I awoke with incredible and inexplainable energy. No anxiety whatsoever, regardless of the things I tried to do because it made me feel so happy I couldn't stop bouncing for the next 2 hours straight. What a striking contrast to my fragile, worn out, and sad version. I even worked up the courage to strike up a discussion with the female cashier at the shop before suddenly starting chats with strangers. It felt wonderful. Even if it had only been for today, the entire Nofap adventure would have been worthwhile. On week 7, when I was in college, the beautiful blonde girl sitting next to me started sending me many inappropriate images. She had been avoiding me for weeks before taking Nofap, but she won't let me be alone after taking it. I don't want to boast, but I think the tattooed, articulate army veteran seated next to us is undeniably more attractive than I am. He also has a better command of the English language. She doesn't even glance at him, because she is so charming and funny. I can't help but feel terrible for him when she completely disregards him and simply grins at me. I almost feel bad for him. Another humorous development occurred when one of the two women who had been friend-zoning me for the previous 2 months decided to give me their phone number. The second one hasn't, but they get pretty excited whenever they are in my presence, and their eyes widen. I thought of giving her the silent treatment as an act of vengeance, just for laughs. When women get close to me, they behave very femininely, giving me an unusual look that indicates that they are puzzled. I also draw more male attention. I have the impression that others now regard me more highly. Today, the cashier at my neighborhood Food Lion store decided to set up a separate line only for me. The next day, as I was walking back to my house from work, I came across a gang of black criminals who appeared to be gambling with me. They could have been cruel to me or beat me up, but instead, they dabbed me and yelled that they wanted to do sexual intercourse with me. During my time in English class, the guys sitting behind me have been complimenting me and telling me that I am cool as hell. Which is strange, considering that I never provide my thoughts in class. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how incredible this experience has been. I finally found the courage to talk to a girl I saw walking down the street in the second month. As she walked past me, I yelled at her and reminded myself that it was either now or never. After that, I invited her to come closer to me by making a sign with my fingers. At this very time, I was overcome with extreme fear and an intense burning sensation that I had never before encountered. After I had her in a trance for about a minute and a half, I asked for her phone number on pure instinct. I have no idea how I did it. The fact that I was both nervous and endearing at the same time did not manifest in my appearance in any way. When I finally got her phone number, I was overjoyed and thought I was the luckiest man alive. Yes, I can complete this task. I feel I'll be getting laid in the not-too-distant future. Without semen retention, none of this would have ever been doable, and I would want to express my gratitude to every member of this community for pointing me in the direction of it. Since then, life has been one wild ride after another. I have a lot more to say, but for the time being, I would appreciate it if you could tell me what you think. I was wondering whether anyone else has had the same experience as I have. That ends his story. In conclusion, semen retention is challenging since it is a process of altering one's identity to bring about positive life changes. It's trickier than you think, but also fascinating and enjoyable. This will transform the way you go about doing things. It boosts your motivation and self-assurance, makes you happy, and makes women naturally drawn to you. Check this video out for more information about semen retention.